Well, the corn's coming in really, really good. I'm impressed, even though I had to jury-rig a bunch of ropes around it to keep it from the wind, keep it up from the wind. I learned some valuable things about the dirt that I bought. I was told to buy it from a compost place that recycles dirt and provides compost, and it just doesn't have enough substance in it, not enough, I don't know what you would call it, dirt. It's mostly compost, and it hasn't done very well. It hasn't done a very good job. I am trying something new. Every time I grow sweet corn, I get worms. So this time, I tried to, after I manually pollinated the ears, I tied little strings around them, kind of snug. I mean, the pollen's a lot smaller than the worms that would fall off of the leaves from moths or butterflies. That's where the cornworm comes from. It's from moths. So you can see everywhere whenever I get an ear that pops up, I manually pollinate it and I put on the strings. I have no idea if this is going to work. I saw it online. Thought I'd give it a try. Come out here every couple of days. Put more on it. I got beans that pretty much fizzled out by now. Not many left. I've gotten, I don't know, about 20 meals out of it. Quite a lot of beans. I wouldn't say it's as many beans as I should be able to get out of a 16-foot row in raised gardens. I should be able to get 10 times that. I'm going to try the pole beans next time. Took out all of the squash except for one plant, and there were these little gray bugs all over the squash when I first got out here. Onions are doing pretty good. Beans, as you can see, are done. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's bean blight or if that's a copper, not enough copper in the soil. But I think the beans are about at their end. The peas didn't do any good at all. Like I said, the leaf lettuce came up, it was all bolting. I cut it off an inch high. It's doing really, some of it's coming back and we're eating it. So that's working. Now the tomatoes. Tomatoes, on the other hand, are going like gangbusters. We've only really picked cherry tomatoes so far, but we're getting a lot of cherry tomatoes are coming off of these plants. You can see that they're coming off like crazy. My wife really likes them, and you know what? They're pretty sweet. I mean, I'm starting to like them too. I just pick them off the plant and eat them. Haven't gotten a lot inside the house because I've been eating them off the plant. And we can see that some of the big tomatoes are starting to come in. I mean, there's tomatoes all over these plants, and so far they're doing pretty good. I keep putting on calcium and Epsom salt. I saw online to brew Epsom salt. The carrots are doing pretty good. Not bad. You gotta keep them watered. They're doing all right. Kohlrabi, it was being eaten up. You can see it's been eaten up by calipers. I came out here one night and all my leaves were gone. I picked off almost 50 little caterpillars from here. I noticed that if you knock the plants around a little bit, the caterpillars drop to the ground. You can pick them up. It's a lot easier. They also got to my cabbage and my there I had over there. I remember I tore it all up. The iceberg lettuce is already bolting. Didn't really come in very well. Too late. Too much sun. Way too much sun. So I'm learning. I'm getting better at it. Here's the potatoes. I really didn't think they were going to shoot up this fast, but they're doing really well. I haven't had them in the ground very long, and they're already shooting up like crazy. I throw the Mittlighter mix on all this stuff now too once in a great while, every few weeks. I got that from LDS Prepper. It works pretty good. Got some more cherry tomatoes here, regular tomatoes, spearmint, and then we're doing pretty good on the peppers too. I should have probably showed you that. Got some peppers coming in here. We already picked a bunch of peppers and we made salsa. It was really, really good. Patty's making salsa. She's doing a pretty good job. I got peppers on here. Got the whole green peppers. I picked a couple of those. There's one right there still on the plant. You can see it. And there's another one right there. A couple of them right there. They're about ready to pick. There's another one down there by the ground. It's ready to pick. So we're eating peppers like crazy. And that's the garden update. What I have learned is that I need to learn a lot more. I don't know squat, or not enough anyway. At least not down here in Texas. I mean, I didn't have this kind of problems in Minnesota. There just wasn't as many insect problems. I had worms in the corn, and that's about it. Down here, I've had everything you can imagine. Caterpillars of different types. I pulled off hookworm caterpillars on here that were about that long and about that thick. I pulled off about 47 or 46 of those too. I came out here with my infrared, or my ultraviolet flashlight I should say, flashed them around and picked them all off, and haven't had a problem with those since. Man, you got to really watch the insects out here. I think next year what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'll build more raised gardens, but I'm going to put the things that don't need bee pollination in one raised bed and put netting around it, real small quarter inch gap netting around it to keep the moths and the butterflies out. Also, same for the cabbages and things like that. I'll put little nettings around those. I'm not too worried about the tomatoes. I think I'll still put the netting around them, but I'm going to have to pull the netting off when they start to flower so bees can get in there. So maybe the netting will come on during the day while the bees can pollinate, and then I'll come out at night and put the netting back on at night. And hopefully that'll keep the big caterpillars and moths and butterflies getting in here. But that's the garden update. One other thing, my lawnmower hasn't been working for the last 4 weeks. Patty's got the small one out there doing some trimming, and this is what happens. You get super tall grass. 4 weeks of Texas grass, and it's 2.5 feet thick, 2.5 feet high, super thick. And they picked up the Gravely lawnmower 3 or 4 times to fix it. Every time I bring it back, it's still broke. Finally, I took a video with the problem of it kicking out and dying, and they sent the video to Gravely, and Gravely told them what the problem was. They delivered it, and they delivered it with no springs on the pulleys for the blades, so the blades weren't even turning. I don't know where the springs went. The springs were there when I sent it. I think maybe they did something to break the springs or took the springs off and didn't remember it. But so that's what happens when you got no lawnmower.